WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Very abbreviated show today. We have Big East basketball doubleheader coming up in about 15 minutes from now. You have Providence versus Creighton, followed by Villanova versus UConn, part of a very busy college basketball weekend right here on your home for March Madness in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN FM. Of course, the MAC tournament is going on right now in Atlantic City. Right now, the second game is Quinnipiac versus St. Peter's. The game starting just a few minutes over at Boardwalk Hall is Rider versus Monmouth. So, MAC basketball going hot and heavy over at Boardwalk Hall right now. You can go over there and check them out. Of course, we will have all kinds of action all weekend long here on 97.3 ESPN. So we'll have an abbreviated show. So before we get out of here, short show, a bunch of stuff to get to. I'll get to the NFL news in just a minute. But I want to start with the situation that's going on with the Sixers. And I understand a loss like last night can be very disheartening, deflating, whatever you want to call it. But I'm here to tell you guys that is not the end of the world. Last night, you have a situation where you saw a team in the Sixers show you why Daryl Morey's teams had not won a bunch of championships down in Houston. When you build these teams around offense, this is what happens. You know, there's that biblical saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Listen, you live by the three, you die by the three. And last night, the Sixers couldn't hit a three if the life depended on it. They just couldn't. It seemed like everything the Nets shot went in. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's very fair and it's very realistic that the Sixers have limitations. And we gotta have to accept that. This is not a team that can win off of defense anymore. It's just not who they are. You don't have the caliber of player out there to win based on just locking guys down. No, you got to go out and outscore everybody. And I understand that everyone is criticizing Harden and Maxey and everyone else today. But here's the reality. The Sixers have limitations. And you saw the limitation last night. This is a team that when push comes to shove, they need their offense to show up or they have nothing. Nothing. Now, this is what some of you guys wanted. I heard for years, it doesn't matter about defense. I got told for years, nobody cares about defense, Josh. I got told, we want scoring. We want shooting. Well, now look what happens. You got what you wanted. And now, you can't beat a team like the Nets on a bad shooting night because you don't have the other prerequisites to win a game. Basketball, for some of you people who don't understand this, is more than just scoring points. Basketball has to do with movement and passing and setting screens and playing defense and help side defense and inbound plays and strategy. And you saw last night why the NBA 2K generation of basketball geniuses don't understand real basketball. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are amazing players. And no matter what you do, they're going to find a way to score at some point in the game. The question is, can you slow them down enough defensively to give your team a shot to score as well? And last night, the Sixers couldn't do that. And I think that you saw that because they got in Harden's grill, you saw the way Kyrie played defense on him. He was up in his face. He never let him get momentum. They never let Harden move like he usually does. Because of that, he was limited. Because of that, he's in a situation now where they got to evolve. And I love what Harden said after the game. He said, we have to learn from this. We have to get better. It's good that we got our rear kicked because now we can learn from it. I love that mentality. Now, whether they learn from it or not is a different story. We'll find out. And we're not going to find out against the Magic on Sunday. You'll find out against the Nuggets on Monday. Yeah, another back-to-back. Sunday versus the Magic, Monday versus the Nuggets. Both games you can hear right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Josh Hennig here for only a short amount of time as we have Big East basketball coming up in about 15 minutes from now. Send your text in at 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. The NFL news that broke about an hour and a half ago. Deshaun Watson has been acquitted on all criminal charges. All 9 criminal counts have been dismissed against him. Now, I'm going to start with this. I was not in the courtroom. I don't know how the case was presented, but I'm aware that I live in a world where Ray Rice was on video blasting his future wife with a hook, and he never got charged criminally for it. He never went to jail. I live in a world where Dante Stallworth was drinking and driving and killed a man, went to jail for 30 days. So I'm very well aware that the criminal justice system is flawed, and it's very possible that Deshaun Watson may have done some pretty messed up, twisted, and sick things. And just because he doesn't go to jail for it doesn't mean that he is not in the wrong. Now, after I put that prerequisite preface out there, I will move on to the next point. Deshaun Watson's getting traded in the next few days. The Texans want to trade him before the new league year begins so they get his money off the books. He has a $35 million cap hit next year. The year after that, he has a $20 million hit with a $17 million roster bonus. So for the next 4 years, he is 35 to 32 to 37 million each year. The Texans want to pay that money. The Texans want to move on as an organization. They want to be rid of Watson and everything that comes along with him. And I completely understand that. I completely get that. And I sympathize with that. So you have a situation where Watson's going to get traded, so the Texans don't have to incur the money. Now, as Rob Motti from the Associated Press reported, as you've heard Rob Motti numerous times right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, he was very clear on Twitter. He said, Deshaun Watson's eventual trade will come down to not to who will give up the most for him. It'll come down to where he's willing to go. We know he's like Miami, Tampa, Carolina. Do not underestimate the power of the no trade clause. I know some of you Eagle fans out there are going to blame Howie when the Eagles don't get Watson and after they didn't get Wilson. But the reality is this has nothing to do with the Eagles. This has to do with the player. Guess what? And you can have a chip on your shoulder. You could be the angry person who lives in Philadelphia if you want about this, or South Jersey, or wherever fandom you are. Deshaun Watson want to play for your team. Deshaun Watson don't like your team. Deshaun Watson don't like your coach. He don't like your GM. He don't like your owner. Get over it. This is the power of player empowerment. We had to hear for years about how the players have been treated like they're basically slaves. That was the whole point of the Kurt Flood lawsuit. That was the point of the NFL having numerous lockouts and, player-owner disputes in the 1980s. The whole point of is you're giving the power back to the athlete so they're not treated like cattle. And part of them not being treated like cattle is they get to choose where they want to go. So guess what? Barring some crazy change of mind for Watson, he don't want to go to your cold northern city. He's a young man from the South. He went to Clemson. He grew up in the Carolinas and Georgia area. He wants to go to a warm environment. I don't blame him. Heck, I'd go to Florida too, probably, if I got a job offer, honestly. Not saying I'm leaving here anytime soon. I love my job here. But if I had to choose between two jobs that are both offering me millions of dollars, one job's in Chicago and one job's in Miami, I'm sorry, I'm picking Miami. No sales tax, better weather. Come on. So I'm not going to act like it's a ridiculous thing that Deshaun Watson doesn't want to go to Philadelphia, some other northern city team. Now, in the aftermath of him being cleared of criminal charges, I don't know how much that list expands. There's been rumors he wants to go to Minnesota because of who the Minnesota head coach is, which is the former coach Kevin O'Connell with the Rams. Now, it's a dome, so there's the elements in the outside. So maybe there's something to this, he wants to be with a certain coach, certain environment. Now, we'll have to see in the next few days where exactly he's going. But I agree with Mike Gill, what he said earlier. He's being traded before Wednesday. So get ready. Get ready for some movement. Just understand he is not going to be in Philadelphia unless something drastically changes. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. All right, I'm out of here. Big East basketball coming up next here on your home for the NCAA tournament and Sixers basketball in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN FM. Providence versus Creighton, followed by Villanova and UConn tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Tomorrow, Billy Schweim in the locker room from 10 to noon. And then at 1 p.m., Big Ten semifinals, followed by Flyers hockey at 3. And then the Big East Championship at 6:30 p.m., followed by the ACC Championship at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN FM. Have a great night, everybody.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein will be broadcasting live from the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, site of the 2022 MAC Basketball Conference Championships. Brought to you by Sioka Car Dealerships, podiatrist Dr. Gregory Moen, the Ducktown Tavern, and the Tropicana. The sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan checks in from Vegas with his big plays for the weekend. Then we will hear from the head coach of the Pittman Boys basketball team, Ron Myers. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
With basketball season in full swing and UFC every weekend, it's time for you to experience sports betting done right at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's Atlantic City Casino and Resort. Get in on all the games you love at the FanDuel Sportsbook, located right off the Atlantic City Boardwalk. The retail sportsbook features 5 betting windows, a large video wall, 20 self-service betting kiosks, and much more. Get your game face on and score big when you bet with FanDuel Sportsbook only at Bally's Atlantic City Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With all the sports we have every